In this video, I'm going to recap the life of Leon "Rocky" Edwards. He has one of the most inspirational, movie-like stories out of all the MMA fighters in the UFC. If you don't know about his past, I'm sure this will blow your mind. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and moved to England with his family when he was only 9 years old. His father was involved in gang life, and Leon's family made the difficult decision to leave Jamaica in search for a better life. However, the gang life eventually caught up with Leon's father, and he was tragically murdered when Leon was just 13 years old. As a young teenager, Leon was on a dangerous path, following his father's footsteps, but his mother had a vision for him, and she introduced him to martial arts, hoping it would keep him away from the streets. Leon fell in love with the sport and knew it would change his life forever. From his humble beginnings, Leon worked hard to hone in on his skills and perfect his craft. He began his professional fighting career in 2010 as an amateur, winning his debut fight via a second-round armbar submission. Right away, Leon knew he had a skill here. He signed a contract with Fight UK MMA and had 2 wins and 1 loss before fighting Craig White at Strength and Honor 14, which he won by decision. Leon then went on a winning streak, going 5-0 in BA MMA, and made his UFC debut against talented fighter Claudio Silva on November 8th, 2014. And in his very next fight, earned himself a first-round KO in only 8 seconds, one of the fastest KOs in UFC history at the time, finishing his fight over setbacks with a first-round KO in only 8 seconds. This was before the big social media era, so it didn't give Leon the incredible amount of star power you may assume, but it did significantly raise his stock in the eyes of the UFC, and also reassured him that he has what it takes to go far in this promotion. But it was his fight against Kamaru Usman on December 19th, 2015 that would change everything for Leon. This is the first time Leon had been matched up with a dominant grappler in Usman. Usman was running through all of his opponents, using his pressure and his wrestling skills, and treat them like a fish out of water. Leon, primarily being a striker, was at a disadvantage in this matchup this early in his career. Usman won the fight by unanimous decision, but Leon didn't give up. He went on a 7-fight winning streak, but his star power was still lacking. March 16th at UFC Fight Night 147, Leon won his fight against Gunnar Nelson, and after came his infamous altercation with Jorge Masvidal, where Jorge gave him the 3-piece in a soda, and the clip went massive across the internet, even more so boosting Masvidal's star power, while Leon saw little return. Leon then had to sit back and watch Masvidal's star power rise, struggle to get matchups that would help his career, and Kamaru Usman, the man to beat him and significantly slow down his path, become the welterweight champion and earn the respect that Leon wanted from the entire MMA community. Kamaru was and is renowned as one of the best welterweight fighters to ever fight in the UFC, and this is the only man to beat Leon in the UFC. Leon finally got himself a bout against a formidable opponent that will help his career, Rafael dos Anjos, on July 20th, 2019 for a main event on UFC. Leon went on to win this fight by unanimous decision and showed once again who he is. And then the pandemic happened. The pandemic affected Leon's gym especially hard, and Leon himself, because he unfortunately caught COVID in the early stages, and this caused him to go on a massive 425-day break since his last fight against dos Anjos. This angered the UFC. They even removed him from the active fighter rankings due to inactivity on October 22nd, 2020. Things were not looking good for Leon Edwards. The whole world was becoming very rocky, and not in the way he likes it. But Leon stayed focused, finally made his return to the octagon, accepting a fight against the new killer of the division, Khamzat Chimaev. But Chimaev caught COVID, and Belal Muhammad stepped up as a late-minute replacement. Maybe this was the world finally rewarding Leon and giving him a break, a more winnable matchup that would significantly help his career. The fight, however, ended early due to an accidental eye poke, and Leon's star power suffered once again, as well as his career, because now he has to wait even longer before getting another win on his record. Despite these setbacks, Leon continued to work hard in the gym, perfect his craft, and wait for the right opportunity. He was finally given one. The UFC offered him a winnable matchup against Nate Diaz, in which he did go in there and outclass Nate for the entirety of the fight, but he got caught with a wild strike at the end, and he almost was finished. However, he managed to stay on his feet and get the job done, and most importantly, go home with the win. Losing to Nate Diaz there would have been unacceptable for a person in his rankings and Nate Diaz's current skill level and age. Leon then had to sit and wait for a little while, let Kamaru Usman do his thing, and as he predicted, not only against the current #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, not only against the man who is the only man in the UFC to beat you, but also the man who holds everything you want right now. He holds the key to the better life that you've been fighting and working for since you were 13 years old, and now it was his time to take what was his. Leon knew this would be the fight of his life. He had trained for months, preparing for every possible scenario, but nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. From the opening bell, Usman came out swinging, putting pressure on Edwards and pushing him against the cage. Leon tried to fight back, but Usman's relentless assault left him with no room to breathe. Leon was able to take Kamaru Usman down in the first round, being the first fighter to take down Kamaru Usman in the UFC. However, Kamaru Usman was able to do what he does and pressure Leon for the next 3 rounds, slowly beating up on him, tiring him out, wearing him down against the cage. Exiting the 4th round, it looked like a foregone conclusion that Leon didn't have what it took to beat Kamaru Usman. He was tired, he was clearly breathing heavy, and he showed no ability to get off the cage and stop Kamaru from implementing his game plan. And it looked like Leon was ready to give up on the stool. He had a look in his eye where there was no more hope, a look he has never shown in his career. But during the 4th round intermission, his coach reminded him of who he is. He told him to stop feeling sorry for himself and reassured him that he is the man to do this. 5th round begins. It's starting to look a lot more of the same. Heavy grappling. With the round almost over, 2 minutes left, Leon is able to engage in the striking battle with Kamaru. Finally, he has an opportunity to take what is his. But things aren't looking good. He still looks very tired. The commentators were writing him off, explaining that he might be just looking for a way to survive the fight. But with around 1 minute left, John Anik said his favorite quote, "That is not the cloth in which he is cut," and just a moment later, Leon landed one single strike that will change the MMA world forever. Leon used fake punches to guide Kamaru to the right, dipping his head, and Leon timed the perfect one-hit KO left high kick that changed his life forever, that set his family up forever, that proved everything he believed since he was a boy, age 13, was true, that he is the man, that he is the best fighter in the UFC, that he is now the welterweight champion. Leon went on to have one of the best, most inspirational post-fight speeches in all of UFC history, and left everyone in that arena and everyone watching worldwide speechless for days. Leon now has his trilogy fight with Kamaru Usman, and whether he wins or loses, what he's done in his legacy will be cemented in history forever. Leon Edwards' story is one of resilience, determination, and hard work. He overcame difficult circumstances and stayed focused on his goals, even when the odds seemed stacked against him. He is an inspiration to future generations of UK talent, proving that anything is possible with hard work and dedication. There is no fighter more suited for the Rocky nickname.